So Betsy is a 17-year-old girl and at our local high school. She has Asperger's and she has a learning disability. She's socially awkward and doesn't fit in with her peers. And she is somebody that really wants to do well, really wants to have friends, and really wants to say the right things, but it never comes out that way. She's complained to her mom over the summer, since her last IEP meeting, which mom didn't attend, but dad did, and dad gave her the minutes of the meeting, where Betsy is like, I can't stand my brain. I always say the wrong thing, and everything I say comes out wrong. And mom's like, well, you go to a shrink now. This is something you need to talk to your shrink about. And you need to try, I know it's hard for you, but you need to start learning to think about before you do things. It's hard for me too. I have ADD, but if I can do it, so can you. So, at one night when Dad is at the house, he just dropped off some groceries, and Max is 4.5 years younger than Betsy, and he plays football. Betsy hates football. She likes to watch, she's into art, she's into musicals. She's been in the chorus, at her in school plays, and and she, so she's involved in school, but she doesn't like sports at all. And one night, when Dad's talking to Max about him being, on the middle school football team, also scoring that touchdown that he played last week. Betsy's just bored with the conversation. She's like, I want to watch this movie on TV, but Dad says, no, we're not watching movies right now. We're not watching television. We're talking. So Betsy tries to walk out of the room, but Mom says, Betsy, sit down. You're going to be part of the family. And so Betsy's just like, okay. So she sits down and she's just, tries to listen. And then, Mom says, this is exactly what I said this morning. The only friends that you feel like that are worth having are the ones you don't have. If you would just get over it and acknowledge that you have friends here, maybe you would be a lot happier. Betsy's just still and like looking at the floor, and Mom's like, look at me. And Betsy says back to her, you're ugly. And Max, who's kind of the annoying little mama's boy, which also gets on Betsy's nerves, and says, oh, Mom, I think you're so pretty. Thank you, Max. Betsy, you really know how to hurt me, don't you? Betsy doesn't answer. And she looks around the room, and Mom says to her in a nasty way, you better look at me. Okay, Betsy says, and then Mom gets up and almost threatens to throw an object at her, but doesn't, and says, you ever talk that way to me or your father again, I'm going to slap you right in the face. You got that? Your father's trying to have a fun conversation with Max, and you only care about yourself. Max had an accomplishment last week, and you're not proud of him? Because you're just so wrapped up in your own problems. You act like, the world is, rolls around you in your realm. Because you feel like, oh, kids are so mean at school, and you think you're too good for us. Well, I got news for you. We love you, and we want you around. And Betsy's just sitting there and, listening. And then she says, I understand that Max is a pain in the ass, but you are so cruel to him because the kids are so cruel to you, and you always have been. You blame your genetics, your brain, and your Asperger's, and your learning disability, but it's you. You are weird. You want to be weird, and you enjoy being weird. If you don't want to spend time with Max and I, maybe you should go move in with your father. Oh, that's right. You don't love your father because you never go there in the first place. I don't want to go to that shack, Betsy says. Gary, did that hurt you, what Betsy just said? And Dad says, it did. It did. I don't think you should talk like that, Betsy, because I don't see you going out and working and affording to pay for your own place. And Dan says quiet for a few minutes, and he adds, you talk like that in the real world, people are going to slap you, beat you up, not want to have you around. You do this shit everywhere. You do it at home. See, we have to put up with your shit, but the world doesn't. And I think you're learning that at school. And then mom says, you need to make better choices, and it's time for you to be a woman. Time to be a woman. You're going to college next year, and you're gonna have to, pay a job and also pay for some of the bills in this house next year. And I feel like you're not ready for that because you're not mature enough. There are a lot of teenagers who don't go out with their friends and go out on dates. They spend time with their families. And I don't know why you think that that's wrong, but that's how some teenagers are. You can talk that shrink all you want to, but we all know, and that you're causing your own misery. So this conversation goes on for about 5 minutes more, and Betsy is just trying to take it all in, but it's a lot of stimulus in the environment, and she is just like, I love my family. I just want to do my own thing, and she's really trying, but it's a very nasty, tough, tense situation. So here are some questions. Is there a better way for mom to approach this situation than the way she's approaching it? What should mom say to to raise concerns that Betsy doesn't spend enough time with the family, and and also about also taking some responsibility for some of her actions, even though it's a lot harder for her than the average person who doesn't have Asperger's, ADHD, learning disabilities, or high functioning autism. And, once mom has cooled down, what do you think is the first thing she should say to Betsy? And the last thing is, why do you think mom decided to use Betsy's symptoms against her? And is that ever appropriate in any other situation? I know Betsy says, yeah, I can't stand my brain. I can't stand my Asperger's. I wish I was just like everybody else. Um, but what message is mom trying to convey? And what should mom do differently? I look forward to your answers, and I will see you later.